Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my channel where I love to talk about all things nail polish. Today is another part of my my favorites, my series about my favorite nail polishes. Okay, that's a better way of saying that. And today we're looking at some of my favorite jelly polishes from Cirque Colors. Full disclosure, this video is not sponsored by Cirque. However, I am a Cirque affiliate and I do have an affiliate discount code with them. I have the details in the description of this video. There's a link that you can click that makes it a little bit easier, or you can use code OLYNAILS and save 10% at checkout. Many thanks to all of you who have been using that code so far. I greatly appreciate it. It truly means a lot to me. So thank you. And all of the polishes that I'll be featuring in today's video were purchased myself. So no PR things to disclose or anything like that. Okay. So with all of that being said, I love sharing videos of my favorite nail polishes, especially for times when someone might be newer to a brand and they're wondering, well, what are some of the polishes to look out for? How do they not just look in a single view, like just on the nail, but also how, especially things like jelly polishes, how can they be used together with other polishes? How do they look when they're built up and so on? So the structure for today's video is I have 5 different jellies from Cirque that I'll be showing y'all. And for each of these, I'm going to show you how they look when they are built up in 1, 2, and 3 coats. Then also for each of these, I will be showing you how they look when they are being used together with a flake topper to create a jelly sandwich. Now, the final part of this for 3 of these polishes is that I'm going to show you how they can be layered on top of other polishes. I think I've got 2 creams and a shimmer, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. But like for 3 of these polishes, they are sheer enough to be able to add a tint on top of another polish. And I think that's a really great way to get some more use out of jellies. However, 2 of them are, as I was swatching them out, yes, they're jelly polishes, but they are slightly milkier. And because of that, I would not recommend those for the purpose of tinting. But I think that they are absolutely great to use for other things, like just wearing on their own, wearing as part of a jelly sandwich, and so on. Yeah, and also because I am gonna be showing you this kind of like difference between opacity with these various jellies, I decided for this video to use the same black flake topper all throughout for consistency and to make it a little bit easier to see which ones are more on the sheer side and which are slightly milkier. I have definitely more than 5 Cirque jellies in my collection, so it took me a little bit of time to really sort through these and think which of these are my favorites and why. And I feel that the ones that I've chosen are just beautiful colors. There's 3, the 3 that are in the thumbnail are more on the vibrant side. I also have 2 others that are more muted, more neutral. So we've got a really good mix here. I'm looking forward to showing y'all these polishes, but also especially to show you like what's on my nails today, because y'all, once I show you like the matching that I've got between these nails and this top, look, let's just go and get right into it. As always, I like to begin by showing you all what's on my nails today. Okay, this is just gonna be really weird as far as like putting my shirt onto the table, but like, okay, hold up. Here we go. So this is a close-up of the pattern of my shirt that I'm wearing, and then this is my nail. You see the vision there? I don't know why I'm so silly today. So I'm so sorry for the energy today, y'all. We're just going to be on a ride together. I actually started today by, initially I thought I wanted to wear some like brown polish, but then I was like, wait a minute. I feel like I've got a brick red, like brownish red cream in my collection that is pretty much like the exact same red as this top. And I was absolutely right. It is from Perky Polish. And it was a gift with purchase that I got with an order I placed with them in November of 2025. I just love this red. It is like, it's almost like an orangish red too, but like not fully. It is just one that is unlike any other red that I have in my collection. And y'all know how much I love red, but this is the only one I have that is like this variety of red. And so as I was trying to plan out my manicure for today, and I decided first on the red top that I'm wearing, I was like, none of my usual like dark vampy reds were jiving well with it. It just did not work. But then I pulled this one out. And then on top of that, I put on this topper from Familiar Polish. It is Snowfall. It is a white speckled glitter topper that has just a little bit of like shimmer in it, possibly. There's like at certain angles. Okay, do you see how I'm just gonna wiggle my finger and you will probably see some blue like towards the bottom there. Okay, just pretend for a moment like I'm hypnotizing you. And look for the blue. There it is. Okay, it'll, yeah, there it is, actually, like right there. Okay. Anyway, I've been very happy with both of these indie brands. If any of you are looking for new to you brands to check out and support, I highly recommend both Perky Polish and Familiar Polish. And yeah, again, just the nails today are, I totally nailed the inspiration. Up first is XOXO Jelly. This is a really interesting one to me because when I bought it and when I got it in the mail, I thought, okay, yeah, this is, it looks red to me. I store this one with my red polishes. I think I've mentioned before on here that I store my polishes by color, not particularly by brand. Everything's just all kind of jumbled up. I'm more just like when I need a polish, I go for like the color. But then I also want to show you some bottle comparisons to some other ones because you'll see where this resides in between the spectrum of like pink to red, because we're also going to have some like other pink stuff going on with this in a moment. So XOXO Jelly, I'm going to put in the middle here. On the left, I'm going to put Cirque's Lolly Jelly, which I know is a very popular jelly from them that many people often use. And then on the right, I'm pulling in Starrilly's Flame Jelly. So hopefully from this view here, you can get a better sense of where XOXO Jelly resides in the spectrum from definitely pink to definitely red. And I always think, when I film these videos, it is so fun for me to like have nothing else on the side like that. I take a look at one single polish for itself and I think, yeah, that's very red. But then when I put it next to something like Flame Jelly, I'm like, that's actually more pink. But then I put it next to Lolly Jelly and it kind of looks like a pink cousin. So, color is fascinating. I just wanted to give you all a bottle comparison there so that you could see where it resides there. So let's go and start swatching these out in 1, 2, and 3 coats. And then we're also going to build up our jelly sandwich. Ooh, I think, okay, so yeah, this is just like one of my other recent videos where I was swatching out jellies, which requires, a lot of swatching. It turned into a bit of a chatty video, so I hope y'all are okay with that. No, I know many of you have said that my chatty videos tend to be your favorite, so I love that this will be another one of those. I think I'm kind of hyper and like my energy is just like woo today because I'm filming this on a Thursday. It's like the Thursday before I leave for my Denmark trip. I'm pretty sure when I post this I will be over there. This is one of the videos I'm filming in advance, but like I have this woo energy because like earlier today I had my last like major meeting of the week that I needed to do before officially, well, I have meetings tomorrow, Friday, but like today was the main day. So, woo, going into a trip is always fun. All right, so here's what we've got in so far with one coat of XOXO jelly. As always with my jelly swatch videos, let me do my creepy finger over here going behind it so that you can see just how sheer this one is. And I think that the quality of this, like just very glassy, just a really great formula that is very self-leveling. And hopefully you can already start to see a bit of what I meant when I said that even though in the bottle, it does look a little bit red, from just one coat so far, it is looking a bit pink, but that's okay. And let's go ahead and build up the second coat. Ooh. Yeah, I'm someone who loves traveling. I often though will hold off on packing until like the very last minute, which is fine to do for like a 2-day trip, but y'all, I'm gonna be over there for a whole week, so I have to be a lot more intentional about what I'm packing. So I did all my laundry the other day, so that part is done, and I tell myself like, okay, when I'm planning for a trip and I need to figure out what I'm wearing, I look at it as, oh, I'm just going shopping from my clean clothes. That makes it a little bit more fun for me. Okay, here we are with 2 coats built up. Once again, the finger test going across here. Even in 2 coats, you can still see through here. That is key because, you know, something that I think is very important to keep in mind about any kind of nail polish, but I think especially jellies, is that the formula of a jelly can vary a lot from brand to brand, but also, as you'll see in this video, even within a single brand. So that's a big part of why I wanted to make this video, so that if any of you were going to be shopping for jellies from Cirque, you would have an idea of what to expect, and as far as like opacity and how things build up. Okay. So with where we are now, I have put down 2 coats on all of these while this is kind of drying a bit. I think, you know, these jellies dry so fast. I'm gonna go into the next part, and the black flake topper that I'm gonna be using today is this one from Holo Taco, Black Flake Taco. I chose this one intentionally because, I mean, as much as I love Crack's mascara flakes, I want the flakes in this to be a lot bigger and a lot more visible, especially when we get to sandwiching between jellies that are a little bit more milky and opaque. But for now, I am going to put Black Flake Taco here. It looks like, okay, if I had to think of this visual, y'all gotta be in here in this with me too. You all know how I say like it looks like something's going to the club. Well, here we are. Okay, this looks like a popsicle covered in Oreos that's going to the club. I don't know why I'm picturing like a popsicle dipped in Oreo, like crushed Oreos, but it's going to the club, and that's where we are, and I am okay with that. So we're gonna let that sit and then build up this 3rd coat. There we are. Okay. And this is what we've got as far as the difference between 1, 2, and 3 coats. Let's bring the finger back, and even behind 3 coats of XOXO jelly, you can still see through this. It is still sheer, and that is something that I feel lends itself to the next part of this swatching. Don't worry, we're going to come back to our Oreo popsicle in the club shortly. But for this next part, I want to show you how the jellies in this video that are more on the sheer side, like XOXO jelly, can be used to like provide a tinting layer over other nail polishes. And the one that I've decided to use for today is from Polish for Days, What Was I Made For? And when I first got this polish, I liked it a lot. I mean, I like pink, I like bright, shiny colors, as you all know, and I was wearing it and it was fine. But then there was one time I put it on, I was just like, I don't know, it's almost what I want it to be, but it's not fully there. And then that's when I thought, well, let me see if I can just put a jelly on top of this and see what that does. And y'all, okay, so the one on the left, by the way, both of these I've swatched in 3 coats. The one on the left is going to be like our control swatch. It's going to stay as it is. And then I'm going to put the jelly over the second one. When you do this, this is the warning, or the warning sounds really serious and scary, but like the advice, there we go, that's better, that I always like to give is to make sure that you are being mindful of how that jelly polish is leveling, because it can potentially show through if your application is a little bit more on the streaky side. On shimmers, not so much, but definitely once we get over to some creams, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so I'm just doing 1 coat of this. And basically what I've done here is, if you take where we started with What Was I Made For, and then if we were to put this, like, you know, right over that, you get that. And that, for me, it just pops more, you know, at least to my eye and in my opinion, it just looks juicier. It looks more vibrant. It looks more squishy. I mean, like, here's how it looks over my skin with the regular. Again, that's fine. But then this is just, it's everything. I'm seeing the difference here in this lighting, but I think probably when I show this in other lighting, you'll pick it up even more. So yeah, this is such a huge improvement for me. And I think, even if you're someone who's like, hey, you already have plenty of jellies in your collection, you're not necessarily looking to add more, I hope that's something you can take away from this video, is this strategy of using a jelly to tint other polishes. Like, have some fun with it. Just like take an afternoon on the weekend, sit down, pull out some polishes and combine them together, see what works, see what doesn't. Sometimes I come up with combinations that I'm like, that was not it, but I have fun trying it out either way. So last thing we need to do here, I'm just gonna put 1 more coat of XOXO to seal up this jelly sandwich. And here, once again, you can still see the finger through here. This jelly sandwich is basically the exact same thing as what we had here with the 3 coats of XOXO jelly, except that we have this black flake topper that's sandwiched in between the 2nd and 3rd coats. And you can see from the side here just how well that lays down. I mean, black flake taco is not a topper that I've ever had any like pokey issues with. You know, sometimes you got flake toppers where like they just will not lay down flat even after you put a jelly over top of it. So yeah, this right here is XOXO jelly. I am going to put some top coat over all of these swatches and we'll take a look in some other lighting. Next, we're doing green. I love green. This is lime jelly. Okay, when I look at this, and I mean this as a compliment, this reminds me of the Jolly Green Giant. Like that is this kind of green, just this really like vibrant Kelly green. Like this you know, it's bright, but it's not so blindingly, like it's not neon or anything like that, but it's just a very nice visibly green polish that I just love having this in my collection. So I've got a couple of comparisons for this one too. I'm gonna put this in the middle. On one side I'm gonna have Cirque's Jade Jelly. And then on the other side, I'll have Emily DeMolly's Sheer Tint Forest. And this is, you know, by no means am I showing you these to be like, oh, these are dupes of each other. This is more so just to give you a sense of where lime jelly resides in between there. So I think that if you're looking at Cirque specifically, from my testing that I've done, Jade Jelly and Lime Jelly have very similar formulas. Then on the Emily DeMolly side, Sheer Tint Forest is a little bit more, well, sheer, and has a formula that is more similar to what we just saw from XOXO Jelly. But I still do love using lime jelly for other reasons. Like, this is one of the times where I do prefer having that additional opacity that comes with this. It's like you get the opacity, but then you also get the squishiness that comes with jelly polishes. So already you can probably see what I mean about that. I know I'm only one swatch in, but if we just take a look at one coat of lime jelly over here compared to the one coat of XOXO jelly, so like finger behind here, finger behind there, you know, every time I do this like creepy finger going in, I have fun with it. But for real though, like it is such a good way to see that difference between to what extent can you see my finger over here versus my finger over there. It almost feels like I'm giving you all an eye exam or something like that. So let me get back to this. Okay, so by the way, if you all hear any like shouting in the background, it's a really nice day outside on this Thursday evening, and the neighborhood kids are out playing on the playground that's like across the back way from my house. And I love that for them. I remember what it was like being a kid growing up, and especially when school's out and it's summertime and you just want to be outside and soak in all that good weather. Yeah. I am all for that, but my goodness, sound does travel, so hopefully y'all are not picking up on too much of that in this video. Okay, on this last swatch here, I dipped back in, and that one built up just a little bit more than I wanted to. See, this is what I mean when I say be mindful about how your coats are building up. You also may have noticed that unlike XOXO Jelly, I do not have a like another polish readily prepped here, and that is because this is one of the milkier, more opaque jellies, and I do not recommend using this to tint another polish. But just look at that. You can still see through it in one coat, and I just love the formula. Very easy to work with, very self-leveling. Let's go in for coat number 2. So yeah, on the topic of packing and everything, I mentioned in one of my previous videos that the reason I'm going to Denmark is that I am speaking at a tech conference, giving a presentation about security. And I always love teaching people about cybersecurity. Like, I will talk to anybody who wants to learn about that kind of stuff all day, but to be able to do so in an international event is just I'm very excited about it. I have not picked out my outfit yet though. The thing with these kinds of events is like, you want to wear something that you feel comfortable and confident in, but then that you also feel comfortable wearing for the rest of the day. So like, not too dressy, but also you don't want to like overdress and stand out from everybody too. I don't know. I feel like as a woman, my female friends on the conference speaking circuit, we tend to overanalyze this way more than our male counterparts do. But yeah, so here we are, 2 coats. This is why I mean that, see, like here, you're not even really seeing my finger anymore like you are through that first one. If I pan out a bit, comparing that to where we were with, like, even when we got up to 3 coats of XOXO jelly, we could still see through, but we're only in 2 coats here, and it's way more opaque, but still giving us the benefit of having this like squishy quality that is just really fun to have with a jelly polish. So let's go ahead and put down Black Flake Taco. Yeah, I'm sure I will figure out what I'm going to wear at some point. I mean, I have to. Yeah. But I'm very excited about this, and then also getting to see some of the sites over there in Denmark, and also just I think, like, you know, I did a lot of conference speaking pre-COVID, and it was definitely something that was a lot more readily available then, because a lot more conferences were able to have sponsorships and put on events, but unfortunately post-COVID that has changed. More on that in a second. Yeah. Okay, we're already a Jolly Green Giant going to the club. While we're doing that, let's put the 3rd coat of lime jelly on over here. Yeah, by the 3rd coat of this, that is definitely where you start to pick up this near, if not complete, full opacity. You know, you can still kind of see my finger a bit through 2 coats, but I'm not picking up anything at all on that 3rd one there. So now this is where I am, the reason, like I mentioned earlier, that I am using the exact same flake topper for the jelly sandwiches was to make it so that it would be a lot easier to see the differences between these polishes as we go throughout. So here we go with this one, and I'm gonna just only use, I'm not dipping back in because I'm pretty sure I've got more than enough on this brush to be able to smooth this out and even it out. Okay, there we go. So this is what it looks like when you use lime jelly for a jelly sandwich, which, just like before with XOXO jelly, is the exact same thing as what we had with 3 coats here, but the difference is that we've just added this flake topper in between the 2nd and 3rd coats. Let's pan back over to our XOXO jelly sandwich, where you can see through that very clearly, but over here you can't. So, you know, but you still can see that there are black flakes underneath here. So while this is a slightly more opaque jelly, it is still a jelly. And, you know, there may be times actually when the look that you want for your manicure is going to be one that is, you know, not as sheer as this, but maybe more of the opacity with what we've got here. I think this could be a good type of polish combination to consider trying to combine with like a matte top coat. I think that would probably look fantastic. Hold up, do I want to wear this in Denmark? Y'all know how I get when I do these videos and I'm just like, hold up, that's real cute though. Okay, so hopefully you're starting to see why I have structured this video in the way that I have, like showing some of these differences here. Again, so far we've got XOXO jelly on the left, which is on more of the sheer side, and then we just did lime jelly, which is slightly more opaque, but still gives us a lot of great jelly benefits. Okay, top coat, other lighting, and on to the next. Next is this stunning blue jelly, Cobalt jelly. I just, I love this shade of blue. It's just, it's like a glimmering jewel or something like that. You know, it kind of reminds me of the Titanic heart of the ocean or something. Also, okay, speaking of Titanic. One time, I think the last time that my husband Jack and I were on a cruise together, and you know how they have like karaoke and stuff. Actually, let me save that story for when I'm swatching. So yeah, because I'm gonna talk to y'all then. But first, let's do some comparisons. So here we've got Cobalt jelly, and then I also wanted to bring in Cirque's Aqua jelly. This one has a formula that is more like lime jelly than it is like XOXO jelly. So same kind of formula there. Just want to put these side by side so that if you were trying to think like which blue jelly might be best for you, you can see that there. I also want to bring in two other blue jellies from two other brands, one of which being Fancy Gloss. This is blueberry jelly. Putting it like here. I also recently did a video on Fancy Gloss jellies. It's funny, I think at the time of filming this, I have not yet posted that yet. So normally when I'm filming these videos and I say, oh yeah, I'll put a link to this in the description, I will do that, even though as of now there is no link, but there will be by the time you all are seeing this. And then I also have Blank Beauty's Blueberry Jam. These look, so they're very similar, and I don't know if the lighting is picking this up well, but I would say that Cobalt jelly is definitely the most vibrant of these. It's just like, you know, when you think of, say, like a kindergarten classroom that has like all of the like primary colors, like what type of blue would be in there, it's this one right here. Whereas blueberry jelly and blueberry jam are more on the darker side, with blueberry jam from Blank Beauty being the darkest of all these. So now let's get into some swatching, and then I will tell you all my cruise story. So, okay. So, you know, on cruise ships, they have karaoke and stuff, and it is always just so fun to watch other people. There's oftentimes we'll go on cruises, and by, I don't know, like the second or third night, there's some people on there who have started getting groupies. Part of me thinks, okay, maybe these are just the people that they came on the cruise with, but no, by the end of the cruise, they've gotten some groupies. But the last cruise, we were about to do karaoke, and I said to Jack, my husband, like, I really want to do Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On. And just me thinking, like, when I think of karaoke songs, I think what's in my range. Like, not that I am at all like Celine Dion, but I just remember in the weeks leading up to that cruise, it had come up on my one of the playlists as I was driving. I was singing along to it, and you know, my voice is a bit deeper than Celine's, but I was able to sing it pretty well in my register. And I was like, yeah, I should do My Heart Will Go On. Just not even thinking anything about, you know, time and place. Not at all. Jack just looked at me and was like, really? Here? Like, what's wrong with that? Oh. So let's just say I did not sing My Heart Will Go On the cruise, but I mean, I now that I realize that, it would be kind of fun for me, but I didn't want to freak anybody out. Okay. So here we are with these one coat swatches so far of Cobalt jelly, and you can probably already tell even before bringing the finger behind here that we are definitely more on the sheer side, which is in alignment with what we had with XOXO jelly compared to one coat of lime jelly. Again, though, very similar, consistent formula that's great to work with, extremely self-leveling, no complaints. So we'll go in for our second coats. And also on travel, I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos that after Denmark, I'm back home for a week, and then after that, I'm going to New York to speak at another event on behalf of my company, which is super exciting. And yeah, I went to college in New York City, so every time I go back, it's fantastic. I love theater. I'm a theater adult. I mean, I just, I seriously do. And I think with me getting my new job this year, that and needing to acclimate to that and get used to that and everything, and also having some things already planned out like this Denmark trip, I haven't had as much time as I have previously had in recent years to say take a weekend to go out to New York, see a few shows, but that is something I'm gonna see if I can try to squeeze in a show while I'm there, probably like the first night I get there or something like that. Okay, here we are with the 2 coats. So yeah, very similar formula to XOXO Jelly. Bring the finger back behind here. There we go. And I like this one a lot. I think it's great to have this kind of blue in my collection because there are just so many different things that you can do with this that give you this this type of creativity. Like, okay, let me show you all this. I typically don't show you all like some of my planning swatches. I'm gonna cover up some of these others here, but because I don't want to like derail all of this. But this swatch in the middle there, this was the Cobalt jelly here together with like an iridescent flake topper. So I used for that one Pepper Polish Tidal Dreams, and this is just one that I have, but you can imagine like using this kind of iridescent flake topper together with something like Cobalt jelly is just a great way to like recreate some of these kind of flaky jelly polishes that I know many brands have been putting out recently. Okay, let's go in for, okay, I put down 2 coats, so now we are at the point of needing our jelly, not our jelly, our flake. You don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so the question of like what I'm gonna try to see while I'm there, I think actually today I got it. I'm on the email list for so many like theater productions and even the ones that are in New York, even though I don't live there, but I go there often. And one that I really want to see got extended to January, I think. Cats, the Jellicle Ball, which is like a reimagining of Cats the musical, but like combined with a like a drag ball. It just sounds fabulous. It sounds like everything. I'm a huge fan of Cats the musical. I even used to have a website about it back in the day. It is little Olivia would come home from school, like come home from high school, jump on the computer and spend some time hacking people, but then after that I would be like, okay, I'm gonna update my Cat's website. I mean, the transition to go from like I'm hacking to, but now let's talk about Mr. Mistopheles. That's just me in a nutshell. Okay, so also I will show you all those other 2 swatches that I swatched out later on in this video. When those jellies come up, I just didn't want to like derail right now and then have it be its whole thing. But yeah, here's what we've got for 3 coats, and very similar to XOXO jelly, we can still see right through there. Now, you might be kind of wondering like, okay, what's up with this right here? Isn't that just like a blue cream that almost looks pretty much exactly like Cobalt jelly in 3 coats? You know, I was skeptical when I did this at first. This was one of these tests where I'm like, I think this might either be really good or it's going to do nothing. It's going to be one or the other, right? And so the blue cream that I've got here in 2 coats on each swatch is from Blank Beauty Polka Dot Blue. This is a gorgeous blue. Don't get me wrong. I like it a lot, but it falls into that category for me of just being like, I wish I could just tint it just a little bit in a different direction, and you'll see what I mean. Now, compared to our shimmer polish down here when we were tinting that, and if you put like a jelly over flakes, if you put it over a shimmer, there's a lot more forgiveness there of like not having your brush strokes and polish leveling be visible compared to when I'm about to put this over a straight up cream. So you all will see just how cautious I'm gonna be with this, but the result is so worth it. I'm like concentrating so much, I'm like, I can't even talk right now. Okay, hold up. Let's see, just need to get a little bit more up by the tip. see. So looking a little patchy at the bottom. Oh, I am tempted to like put a little bit more in here. Okay, I need to put just a little bit more on. I might regret this. I might regret this. Oh no. Okay, no, it's good, I think. Sorry, I'm taking y'all on an emotional journey here. Why am I dipping back in for more? Olivia, stop. No. Okay. We're good. We're good. So this here, I would say, because I went back and dipped in a bit more, is probably going to be like more of putting 2 coats of Cobalt jelly over polka dot blue. But do you see the difference here? I mean, this is, it definitely can take a little bit of practice to get used to figuring out how to really level this out. And I think that if it's the case that if you're ultimately deciding to wear this combination result together with some kind of topper like I've done here today, then it really, that will kind of obscure any self-leveling issues that you've run into. But like, that is stunning. And you know, I've got cream polishes in my collection that are this shade of blue, but they don't have that squishy look to them like you get from a jelly polish. So this is another reason why I'm recommending this technique as being something where if you absolutely love the squishy look of jellies, and also want to experiment with tinting some of your other polishes, that, oh, okay, do I need to wear this one? Oh, that's really nice. Okay, so let's go back to our jelly sandwich here and cover this up. And yeah, same like before, we've got excellent leveling with the formula. You can still see my finger through there, and hopefully by now you can understand a little bit more about why I wanted that consistency of like flake topper, so that you know, not that it wouldn't have worked well to have put like a different one here, but I think that when you keep the flake topper consistent across polishes, your eye becomes a lot more used to knowing what to look for, and then it better understands where those differences are. I can't wait to see this in some other lighting. I know that will probably better illuminate some of the like patchiness that I had with my application, but I'm okay with it. If I were ever wearing this as a full manicure and someone came up to me and they're like, girl, your nails are patchy, I would just be like, it's the ocean. The ocean has waves, and so do my nails. I seriously would say that. Okay, let's see this in some other lighting. The next jelly that we've got is, I think it's Voile. And one of y'all very graciously told me how this is pronounced some months ago. I forgot. I think it's Voile. So we're gonna go with that. This is like a neutral color jelly that I initially got back when I was trying to figure out like a good neutral jelly for my skin tone. Turns out it is not this. But I still have gotten some excellent use out of this, especially for like dupe attempts, using it in nail art, things like that. The one comparison that I've got here is actually the polish, the jelly that I feel is a better neutral for my skin tone from Craft, called Spill the Tea. I think that because for me, my skin is like, I would describe my undertones as being like cool olive, and very there's definitely like yellow coming through in my complexion. And so when I look at Voile, I do see like, I think because, you know, there's like, it looks a little yellow here, that just doesn't play up against my skin tone as well as something like Spill the Tea does. So, you know, this is part of why I want to do some of these comparisons. I know how difficult it can be to try to find your really good neutral. So if Voile is it, I would say, you know, it's a really good one to work with. So let's go ahead and start swatching this out. Ooh, okay, where did I leave off with the last story? I was talking about the Jellicle Ball, was talking about hacking and Mr. Mistopheles. Yeah, I was just all over the place with that. But you know, whenever I go back to New York, there's certain things I always enjoy doing. I enjoy getting pizza. I know I live in Chicago, and don't get me wrong, there are pizza places here in Chicago that I absolutely enjoy eating at, but there's just something about it's a lot of nostalgia for me. I mean, being an 18-year-old fresh out of high school and moving to New York City and like having a dorm on Fifth Avenue as a kid, I still felt like a kid. It was like such a surreal time for me, but I feel like the school that I went to, the experience that I had there just absolutely did so much to shape the person that I became. Even though I look back now and I mean, goodness, that was like, it was actually 20 years ago exactly this month that I was graduating from undergrad, and I'm in many ways a very different person today than I was then. But I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for like the foundation that little Olivia was starting to build. Okay, so here is Voile finger test. So you can see here, we are on the more milky side of things. And once again, that's not a bad thing, because remember how this built up when we were using lime jelly over here. So you can probably see already the similarities between what we've got with one coat of Voile with one coat of lime jelly compared to, say, one coat of Voile and one coat of Cobalt jelly in the background. So let's go on to the second coat. You know, one thing that is different though, whenever I go back to New York, it's like, oh, it is way different experiencing it now as like an adult with an actual like full salary compared to when I was a kid and, you know, doing work study. One of the things I do miss though is just connecting over to my love of theater that I said, going to the most random, bizarre, like off, probably off again Broadway shows. I've got a fun story for that to tell y'all in just a second here. I'm so sorry how like the storytelling, it's like, and here's what happened. Okay, so here is our, y'all know what I'm trying to say, 2 coats of Voile. And you know, same thing that we were seeing with lime jelly, where if you go in behind the one coat, you're still seeing through there. It is a little bit more cloudy or milky. And this is why I was saying that I don't particularly use Voile or lime jelly for tinting purposes. But the alternate jelly sandwich that I'm going to show y'all in just a second, why am I not wearing that combination right now? Okay, you'll see in a moment. Actually, I'll show you all that right now. Okay, so first, this one over here on the far left, this is one that I originally wanted to do with lime jelly, and I was using Rogue Lacquer's Emerald Isle as a topper. And it worked well, but I thought, you know, for consistency's sake, I want to show you all like the same one across to make it easier to compare. And just look at that. Look at that. Isn't that so pretty? The one in the middle, by the way, is what I'm talking about. This is a jelly sandwich with another one of my favorite flake toppers, Cuticula's Candy Crush. And not just that, but I then followed this up with a matte top coat. Ugh, just, Now, as I mentioned, this is not my my particular neutral color, but I think maybe tomorrow I might do that with Spill the Tea. But you know, if you are looking to get more out of your neutral jelly polishes, try doing a jelly sandwich and then put a matte topper or a matte top coat over that. And yeah, this is with Candy Crush. In Voile, I love this result so much. Okay. Let's go back over here. Okay, so the story I was gonna tell y'all. There was one year, one day, one of my roommates was like, "Hey, Olivia, do you want to see some show this weekend?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What do you have in mind?" And she's like, "It's some random show over in the East Village. Let's go." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. Let's do it." So the show was called Matt and Ben, and it took place in one of these teeny tiny, like smaller theaters where one of the great things about it is that it's so small that everyone feels like you are basically on stage with the performers. And the premise of the play was, it was set in a living room, and there was one woman who was playing Matt Damon, one woman who was playing Ben Affleck, and at the start of the play, the script for Good Will Hunting just drops from the ceiling into the middle of their living room, and then there's some kind of like conflict and struggle or something there. Okay, more to come on this. Okay, this is the 3 coats of Voile. And yeah, I think in the 3, very similar to lime jelly, you're pretty much getting full opacity there, which is, again, I feel like that is what makes these types of jellies more versatile in some ways, like lime jelly and Voile, because what if you like wearing it a little bit more sheer in 2 coats like that to get a little bit of visible nail line, but then what if you also wanted to wear it, and how is there a hairball? There's a hairball on there. Okay, let's disregard my hairball right there. But you can also build it up to full opacity. So like if this is a color that you really like, you're able to get different uses out of it without having to own this and then also a cream in the same color. So as I'm putting this top coat or the topmost layer over our jelly sandwich, yeah, the play was fun. It was so bizarre, so kooky, and I enjoyed it a lot. And it wasn't until some years later that I looked back and realized, wait, one of so it was a 2-woman play. And one of the actresses that I saw, again, in this super cozy theater was Mindy Kaling. And this was back in like, oh goodness, like must have been like 2004, 2005, I think. Yeah, so that you just never know who you might get to experience on their rise up to stardom. Okay. So this is what it looks like for that jelly sandwich with black flake taco. And to bring in lime jelly again, you see that similarity there with opacity compared to, say, let's bring over XOXO jelly again here, compared to that. I think that, yeah, this black flake taco looks okay with Voile, but y'all, I'm just bringing this back over here again. If you have any kind of like rainbow flake topper in your collection, like Candy Crush, combine it with a neutral jelly and make a jelly sandwich and put a matte top coat over that. And I say this as somebody who does not wear a matte top coat often at all, but do this. It is such an easy but stunning way to have a creative manicure. And for, you know, if you're someone who really likes going out and having people see and compliment your nails, this is a really fun one to be like, oh yeah, I did my nails myself. All right. So yeah, gonna top coat these. Let's see another laying, and we got one more. The final polish for this video is going to be charcoal jelly. This is, as the name suggests, a gray jelly. I got this one because I realized that months ago, as I was going through and trying to do some like did I nail it dupe videos, there were quite a few that called for needing a gray jelly, which I just did not have. Like I had a couple of black jellies, I had like a brownish one, but I did not have one that was like gray until now. So let's do a few quick bottle comparisons. So here we've got charcoal jelly. None of these are intended to be dupes, but just to kind of show you some options that I've got in my collection. This is like a brownish, grayish one from Crack called Liquid Smoke. You can see here, they're both in this kind of like dusty family, but not at all dupes. And then more on the black side of things, I have Charcoal Custard from Blank Beauty. And then from Emily Damali, Sheer Tint Shadow. So Sheer Tint Shadow is what I would consider to be a true black jelly. Charcoal Custard from Blank Beauty is more of like a sepia toned one. And so I should probably actually move these here because I think that Charcoal Custard kind of like has a slight tint to it. So that's not going to be very close to charcoal jelly. But if you are looking to see like how a gray jelly on the left, like charcoal jelly, compares to a black jelly like Emily Damali Sheer Tint Shadow on the right, here's that bottle comparison for you. So you know, part of my hesitation initially when I was thinking of buying a gray jelly was like, do I really need that? You know, but I decided, yeah, I do. It does fill a hole that I previously had in my collection. So let's get swatching. Also, as I was putting top coat on these other swatches, I got a little like top coat happy, and then I was just like top coat, top coat, top coat, and then I started putting top coat on this swatch, even though there's like nothing on there. So we're skipping that one and we're just moving it along. Yeah, it always makes me happy to like think back to my college years and just the journey that I went on there, like not just in terms of like how my major shifted over the years, but also personally, as far as like academics. Like I came from a high school where I was near the top of my class in a science and engineering curriculum, and started college wanting to do biomedical engineering and pre-med. But then my first semester, I proceeded to fail calculus and I think a couple other classes too. So I had like a 2.13 GPA first semester. But then over the next 4 years, I figured a lot of stuff out. And by the time I graduated, I spent the last 2 semesters, I earned a spot on the dean's list. So I was able to turn it around. Okay. And get into grad school. Yay. All right. So here we are with the one coat. I mean, do we need the finger test? Probably not. But are we going to do it anyway? Yes, we are. You know, this helps you to see where we are with this. Just, you can see right through it. And excellent formula here. It is something that I feel like, yeah, you might not in one coat see the difference between this as a gray jelly compared to say like a black jelly, but I will show you as we start building this up in multiple coats, it will become a lot more evident what's going on here. Okay, here we go. So yeah, failed calculus my first semester. Part of the issue I think for me was that because I was in the engineering program, I had to take not just calculus, but I was taking intensive calculus. So the idea was that as a freshman, I would take intensive Calc 1 in the fall, and that was covering all of Calc 1 and half of Calc 2. And then in the spring, had I continued in the engineering program, I would have taken intensive Calc 2, would have covered all the second half of Calc 2 and all of Calc 3. And yeah, I was just like, this is not it for me. Nope. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely more of a gray jelly. I'm looking at this and already starting to get some ideas of like what I might want to do with this for some nail art or some like, I don't know, some kind of like inspired manicures, like having this kind of foggy window manicure be there. So let's pull over some comparisons. If we take a look at, I'm just gonna pull lime jelly behind here and see. So just comparing where we are with 1 and 2 coats of charcoal jelly up front, and then looking at where we were with lime jelly in the back. Lime jelly and Voile definitely build up a lot more quickly. It's funny how like I can even see my lime jelly swatches as I'm looking through charcoal jelly here right now. Okay, let's put down our black flake topper. Yeah, so I failed calculus. That was fun. And I you know, when you're like 18, you haven't really lived a big life outside of high school or anything. So when things happen, it just, everything feels like it's the end of the world. And so I told myself, oh my goodness, no, like if I failed calculus, this means I can never have any kind of technical career. And as I mentioned, I was someone who loved hacking, and it was devastating to me, this idea that as much as I love cybersecurity, I thought if I failed calculus, that meant I could never work in that field. Okay. Here we go with 1, 2, and 3. I also want to show you the other layering combo that I initially had for this, which was this one right here, which is basically the exact same thing, but with a red flake topper added in. This is Spectrum Cosmetics Slay. This I think is a stunning combination here, and you can see like this is a preview of how this is gonna look in 3 coats. I just love how even though we're putting like a gray jelly on top of this, you can still see that this is a red flake topper, and that's something that I definitely wanted to call out for this, because you know, just like before with this one when we were looking at the Candy Crush one, even though you're putting on this like tint of a jelly polish, you can still see what colors you're working with. Okay, so let's go over to our cream here. The one that I'm using is something else that I got to fill a hole that I had in my collection. This is a gray cream from Cracked called Don't Throw Stones. This was pretty much a 1 coater, but I built it up in 2 coats anyway, just because that's what I always do. And you can see how it is here. I mean, like I said, I got this polish because I did not already have a gray cream, and I don't really wear gray by itself. Where I do wear this though, y'all, this looks really good with like a shimmer topper like this, plus like a green shimmer topper. Alien vibes in the best way. But I wouldn't wear it just like that. Like that doesn't work for me. So what might happen if we put charcoal jelly over one of these swatches? As I'm layering this out. Yeah, so that was you know, a big part of my journey, and kind of like telling myself that just because something doesn't work out the way you thought it would, that doesn't mean that all those doors are going to be closed off to you. I mean, I wish I could go back in time, and I think I'm going to put another coat on this, just like before the other cream. I wish I could go back and tell like younger me, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, your future is going to go in some zigzags that you're not going to expect, but that's okay. And those zigzags are going to make you a more interesting person. It's going to give you experiences that other people don't have. It's going to make you stand out and be the person you are. And, you know, working in a highly technical field now, I look back and I'm so proud of 18-year-old me who realized, you know what, calculus, this path isn't working for me. Let me go and figure some other stuff out and put this on the side, and I'll come back to it if I need to. And y'all, I don't even use calculus today. So it all worked out just fine. Okay, so here is what we've got as far as like tinting this. Now, same thing as before when we were talking about the polka dot blue over here, how because this is a cream, you probably will need to be a little bit mindful and keep an eye out for just some kind of like color waviness in there. But that could actually be a good thing when you think about it, because when I look at this right now, as I, you know, proceed to like smudge this swatch over here, this looks like a really beautiful cloudy day. And I could see like putting some white clouds over this and just being able to have this like imperfect, like not fully even background could be a good thing. And also too, for times where you're like, you know, there's just like this one time when I need to wear a gray polish that is this shade of gray, but I don't wear gray polish all the time, so I wouldn't need to buy a whole separate bottle of it. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so let's close up the last jelly sandwich. Any final thoughts as I'm wrapping up my you know, life story for this? Yeah, as you all can probably tell, I'm a very career-driven person. It's so interesting to me because you all here know me as like you know, the nail polish side of me, and it's I've got my colleagues at work who mainly know that, you know, the professional side of me, but I just love that I'm able to talk about a little bit of that stuff here in this context. And you know, you all have, so many of you have said in the comments that you love hearing about this side of me. So I'm glad that I can share these things. And because yeah, I absolutely love the work that I do. I love working in a field where I get to help other people learn about technology, because I know it can be a very difficult thing to do at times. Okay, finger test. And so you see why I like this by itself is not bad, but like, if you have a black flake topper and you've got a red flake topper, like, just put them together. It adds that extra pop that's there. But yeah, so this is why I would say charcoal jelly, definitely more on that side of being sheer enough to give you that transparency, and also to be used for tinting other polishes. And I think I'm really glad that I have a gray jelly in my collection for times where I'm like, I need something that's not quite white, not quite black. I sound like Goldilocks, but y'all know what I mean. So top coat, other light, and we'll get wrapped up. I had a lot of fun swatching these out, and I really hope that this video has helped you all to get a better sense of the wide range of Cirque jelly polishes that are available, and including some ideas for how to use them with layering, with jelly sandwiches, and so on. If there are any of you who have other Cirque polish suggestions beyond these, please feel free to share those in the comments, especially if other viewers who are newer to the brand or thinking of shopping with them, they can have some ideas for what to consider adding on to their wish list. And also too, I've got to say, it's always so much fun to do these kinds of videos that are more like chatty, in the sense of like, you know, I'm sitting, I'm swatching, and I'm part of it is like I'm talking about my process of what's going on here. But it's also just like I really enjoy getting to share more of myself with you all, because we are all very multifaceted people. And as much as I know you're here for the nail polish, I think it's important to, I always think when I watch the YouTubers that I follow, both within nail polish and for other hobbies that I have, I keep in mind that I'm like, yeah, I'm watching this person mainly for this hobby, but at the same time, they exist outside of that bubble. And it's always really interesting, for me at least, to learn more about who they are and what else they want to share about their life. So I hope that you all enjoyed getting some little, a few more snippets of me there. Yeah, like I said earlier in the video, I'm almost certainly going to be posting this video while I am traveling. So if it's the case that I'm not able to respond to your comments as quickly as I usually am, that is why. But yeah, I can't wait to get back home and catch up with you all and tell you about the trip. So thank you all so much, as always, for being here on this channel as part of this community, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.